Ever wonder why one wine drinker reaches for California wines and another heads straight for the European ones? Sometimes it might feel like there are really two distinct wine cultures and wine styles between the two areas. But why is that? Hi there, I am Jacqueline for Vero, where we go around the world searching out wild and scarce wines, specialty foods, and extra virgin olive oils to bring to the US for wine lovers, foodies, businesses, and distributors alike to discover and enjoy along with us. And a lot of those wines are both from Europe and California. And today we're going to be digging into a fun question. Why do California and European wines often taste so different, even when they're made from the same grape? And why do so many wine drinkers seem to naturally lean towards one of those styles or the other one? The answer is actually a sort of mix of tradition and palate preferences, influenced by climates, laws, and so many other things. We're going to talk through it because it really is interesting. So let's get started. So the first big puzzle piece that we're kind of going to look at is, why do people tend to gravitate to one of those styles in the first place? And it might seem a little straightforward, but people like to drink what feels familiar to them. Most wine drinkers will develop their palate through whatever wines they grew up around and whatever they drink the most often. So if someone has spent more time with California wines, wines that are ripe, fruit forward, easy to enjoy on their own, that style may feel just a little bit more natural and comfortable to them. Where European wines can feel like a different world at first to them. They're often more structured, they're more acidic, they might be more focused on food pairings and food friendliness. But this is not because they're trying to be difficult, it's because they come from a different wine culture. In many European countries, wine has long been a part of the table, for millennia, in fact. And it's part of the meal, it's part of everyday life. So if you're used to drinking wine in that way, those European styles will feel very normal and comfortable to you. Where those California wines, on the other hand, comfortable to the California drinkers, are going to seem bigger, softer, and a little bit different. So really, this is less about what is better or worse in terms of style, and it's more about what a palate has been trained to expect and what it is used to. And this is where things start to get interesting, because once you realize that you can actually start tasting a little bit more intentionally instead of just going for what feels familiar, a whole new world of wine styles opens up. The next big piece of the puzzle is going to be that a grape can actually taste very different depending on where it's grown and how it's made. We're talking about climate and winemaking here. The climate will play a huge role, such as in California, the sun might be stronger, the growing season is often warmer and more consistent. Grapes can ripen into wines that will feel more riper, rounder, and more generous in their fruit flavors. Whereas in Europe, we might get a little bit more temperature variation depending on where in the continent we fall. There might be cooler growing conditions involved, and this can lead to wines that have a little bit more freshness, structure, and acidity in them. But it's not just about climate after all. Style and winemaking will matter. A winemaker in California might choose to make a wine that feels a little bit more plush or fruit forward, choosing to plant their vines in a warmer place, for example. And a European winemaker may lean towards a style that feels more restrained or focused on balance, choosing to take advantage of a longer growing season for a little bit more of a phenolic ripeness. And the final wine, depending on these decisions, can end up feeling like it has a completely different personality, despite the fact that it's made from the same grape variety. Now, this goes to show that wine styles don't just happen by accident. They are shaped by what people expect to find in the market, are used to, and are based on traditions. If drinkers keep reaching for wines that are rounder, riper, and more fruit forward, a winemaker might notice and start to make more wines in that style, chasing the market. Over time, that becomes the norm in the area, and the loop keeps going. The same thing happens in the other direction too. If a market values those wine styles that are more structured, restrained, food-friendly, producers will keep making wines that fit that taste. So you see, the climate can lead into the tradition, but the tradition can also take advantage of the climate. And this is exactly why wine culture will feel so different from one place to another. It's not about what grows there. It's about also what people have learned to want, what will get repeated by the winemakers, and how those expectations will shape the wines that keep showing up on the shelf and in the local traditions. And actually, how California and European wines can taste so different and why their traditions are so different will manifest itself right on the bottle. European wines, especially Italian ones, will tend to lead their labels with a place, the region, the appellation, the village, the hillside. The label is telling you where the wine comes from first, and what grape it's made from is secondary. Now, California usually does the opposite. The grape is front and center, which makes the wine feel more immediately familiar and easier for people to shop for in big stores. And all of this leads to a bigger picture, because none of this actually happens in a vacuum. They're all interconnecting puzzle pieces, so to speak. The climate, the tradition, the market expectations, the labels, the palate, all of this feed into one another. The wines that we end up loving are the ones that we have been taught to expect, which is why the same grape can feel so different depending on where it comes from. But once you understand that, the differences stop feeling mysterious and will start to feel fascinating. So at the end of the day, it's not really about choosing California style or European style wines. It's about understanding why they taste different, what those differences say about place, history, and style, and how you can start exploring that. Because once you start tasting with all of this in mind, wine becomes a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. So the next time you want to open a bottle, just don't ask what grape it is. Ask where it comes from, California or Europe. Ask who made it. Ask what kind of story and tradition is behind it. And why not experiment with some of those bottles from Vero? In our Vero shop, we have a selection of hand-selected artisan wines from both Europe and California. You can find the ones that fit your palate and your traditions. We can ship right to your door in most states, or if you are a business or distributor, please contact us for wholesale pricing. As well, be sure to check out the accompanying blog that I have linked below for all links to wines that are from California and Europe, but they're going to be made with the same grape. This is a great way to experiment with the theory that we were talking about here today of the differences between California and European styles. So be sure to head to the Vero shop on verovino.com, linked below, to check out those wines. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below and be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and to the Vero newsletter on verovino.com to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from Vero. I will see you in the next video, which, may I suggest, this one here? See you over there. Bye.